Is there anybody listening? Is there anyone that sees what's going on? Read between the lines, criticize the words they're selling. Think for yourself and feel the...
Good morning. Welcome back to the trailer park. Sorry, guys. Rockfin did not want to go off this morning. I had to keep throwing countdowns at you. Here's another countdown. I like that first one because it kind of gives you that 70s, womp, 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 you know, the porn music. I think it's funny. I wish it was a minute long one, but how is everybody this morning? Hey guys, I'm going to need your help this morning because my best friend and engineer, Oz, is not in the chat. He is at the doctor. So let me know if my sound is bad, if I'm not in both channels, if I'm coming through on my camera mic. I check these things out, but you never know. You guys are always great at telling me if I'm effed up in a way. So it is Tuesday morning. That means we are on all channels, which is both the YouTubes, the Rockfin, the Rumble, the Twitch. We're out there everywhere. Thank you guys for joining me. Hit that like button and share this out. Lizzie, good morning. I see you hanging out. Popeye the Sailor, you're so sweet. Popeye's here. Yona's hanging out. Yona, you're doing some great work in West Virginia. Keep fucking calling those motherfucking poisoning cartels out because that's exactly what they are. Fred Edwards, good morning. Kate, I'll be here, but I'm sitting on the indoor rowing machine. Rowing machines were my favorite exercise, especially when I was younger. I used to have one when I lived down south, and I would sit and watch Rosie O'Donnell all morning and row. But rowing makes you so, it's just a full body workout. I totally agree. I love the rowing machine. If I had one, I'd be on it all the time. So that was over on the Rockfin. Our beloved Chanda is effing hot today. Aw, thanks. Yeah, let's see. Who do we got? We got the Rockfin. The Rumble. The Rumble's been growing, guys. I love it that you guys are sharing it out, tweeting it, liking. I mean, we pick up 2 or 3 followers here or there. Do you think Rumble will replace YouTube? I saw a poll about that the other day, and 55% said yes, and like 34% said they don't know yet, like unsure yet was the choice or something. So more people think that Rumble's coming for YouTube than don't. You know, I don't know. I just see them capitulating if they do, right? They're all corporate ran. It's the way I kind of look at them, except for Rockfin. We do have some out there that aren't corporate ran. BitChute, if you could go fucking live, you'd be doing really good. So I'm going to try to watch my F words today, okay? This is my goal, is to try to watch my mouth. But damn it, I don't have a filter, so it's hard for me. I got a great show for you guys. Oh my gosh. You know, my little name thing this morning says saw it coming, because we saw this coming, you know. We've been talking about it for over a year. We knew they were coming for your 401ks, your pensions. We've been screaming it, you know. This is controlled burn is what this is, and we're really going to get into it, break down. I got a couple of great opinions. I got Kim Iverson on the deck. I've got Joey Galloway and Richard Wolff. I think they're, you know, Richard Wolff's input is so important right now, I think. And I wish that he would get more airtime than he does, but I love Moats. Moats is a great show. If you're not following Joey Galloway over on Moats, definitely do. And of course, I got the best memes of the banking crisis. So we're going to go over those because, hey, in a time where we are under Orwellian censorship, for a lack of a better term, memes seem to be a way to get truth out, right? I mean, they can't stop a meme. Half the time, the algorithm can't grasp what the meme is trying to say. So it works for us. Let's get the mundane bullshit out of the way, guys. Let me bring up my deck real fast. There we go. I canceled StreamYards altogether. Even though StreamYards has one shot in it I really like, where I can do like a little me and then a bigger deck, almost like a news type thing with like what Jimmy does right next to him. But I don't have that with Restream. But we already paid a lot of money for Restream. So I'm just going to write it out till the subscription's over, and then maybe I'll go back to StreamYards. Everybody's bitching at me to move to OBS, which I can use OBS. I'm just not a big fan. So as you guys know, I've never really pointed this out, but I want you guys to see it. the back of are my cards, my thumbnails, you'll always see something that relates to trailer park, being, working class, being poor. I mean, I just try to make them realistic and the reality that millions of Americans are living right now in this country, right? So my cards will always stay that way. Fair use, fair use. God, no matter what we do, we are just getting smacked around by censorship and by copyright strikes. As you know, we bring a lot of music, especially to Beauty and the Boomer. Beauty and the Boomer this last weekend got us a couple of hits for a couple of different things. So if you've noticed that it's been edited, we had no choice to keep it up. We had to pull some of the music out of it, and that's just the way it goes. That's the risk we run to bring you guys the entertainment we do. So yeah, go out there, form your own opinions, do your own research. Definitely do your own research, because I come across shit all the time that I go, oh my gosh, I should report that. And then I go and I look for the source and I can't find the source. So always look for the source. Are other mainstream people covering it? And if so, who are they accrediting the sources to? That's my big thing. Time and date, when did it come out? I mean, I come across lots of shit and then I find out it's from like a year ago. Like I was going to bring you a bear attack. It was this bear in Yellowstone freaking going after a ranger, but it was from a year ago. So why the hell some, place is tweeting it out a year later? You got to check the dates on everything. We know that. You guys can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/trailer park. And I want to thank Maria. Thank you so much. I woke up last night in the middle of the night to a message that she had bought me 3 coffees. I appreciate it. You're going to help us keep one of our subscriptions going all for the next month, and that is our YouTube. I hate to have YouTube Premium, but I have to have YouTube Premium with the amount of content that we consume. And so it makes life so much easier, $25 a month. And actually that you can add friends and family. So like you can have 5 people that it just does away with YouTube commercials. I haven't watched a YouTube commercial probably since 2017. So thank you so much. That's what your donations go to. They help us keep the lights on. They help us keep the subscriptions going and help bring us to you guys. So thank you so much. Of course, we're still using PayPal because they haven't completely screwed us yet. Only a matter of time. But if you want to help us out, those are the best ways. Or you can join the Beauty and the Boomer Patreon. We love our Patreons over at Beauty and the Boomer. I could have a Trailer Park Pundit Patreon. I just think it's too much. I just don't, want to weigh you guys down in all these different subscriptions. So we're just keeping it consolidated to Beauty and the Boomer or my 2 other donation sites. So thank you so much. I have brave, never seen commercials. That's great. Okay, guys, let's get started. Oh, let me get comfy, get my coffee. I got the whole damn fams with me this morning. Love my fam cups. Okay, let's start out with this day in history. There's some crazy things that happened on this day in history. So let's check it out. First of all, 1879, American physicist. Yeah, he's a physicist. That's what we'll call him. Albert Einstein was born in Germany. So happy birthday. 1883, Karl Marx dies. How crazy is it that Einstein was born on the same day that Marx dies, but like what? 4 years apart? Yeah, 4 years apart. That's crazy. 1964, of course, Jack Ruby is found guilty of murdering Lee Harvey Oswald. Well, we all know how that went, right? And on this day, 2018, another physicist, Stephen Hawking, dies at the age of 76. How is it so weird that Albert Einstein was born? Okay, Stephen Hawking dies on the day that Albert Einstein was born. Just weird. There's always these weird little things in life and history. I just found that weird. Oh, and there was one more. Vladimir Putin is elected, 2004. So this is when he won his second term. So they always said it was going to be a fluke, right? And then of course he won the second term, and now I don't know. He's just leader in term forever or something like that. I don't know what he is, honestly. I don't know what he's named himself. Okay, so that was your day in history. Let's check out headlines I don't care to cover. Headlines I don't care to cover. So people who worship celebrities have lower cognitive ability, studies suggest. Wow. Are we shocked by that one? Not shocked. Of course, we had the Oscars this weekend. Oh, God. I remember a time back in the 90s, early 2000s. I lived for those award shows. Oh my God. I loved February and March. It was cold and I got to watch all the award shows. You know, it was the coolest thing ever. And now I just look at those people as elitists, you know, gated community morons who think that they can dictate to the rest of the world how to live their lives based on their opinions. And yeah, I believe that I had a lower cognitive ability when I was completely obsessed with stardom and celebrityism, right? So that's not really news. So that's why I don't care to cover it. I think we all knew that. So Carl never met Einstein. No, Fred, he died. He was only 5 years old, right? Einstein was 5 years old when Karl Marx died. So how crazy is that? And Stephen Hawking's never met Einstein. I would assume by how far apart their deaths were. So crazy. Of course, Stephen Hawking's told us that AI is coming for us, and we should heed the warning. I don't know. He was probably right. I guess we'll find out. That didn't he say AI is the biggest threat to humanity? And then I think he said that what else did he say? Aliens. If aliens are real, they're another big threat to society. I used to be obsessed with Hawking's. Now I know a little better, right? I used to be a little obsessed with Bill Gates too. I definitely know better now. Okay, let's get started on Biden. The banking system is safe. Okay, it's safe. It's safe. Don't worry, you'll get your money. Capitalism without regulation is just fascism. Make the depression great again. Yeah, that's kind of where we're headed right now, isn't it? I mean, it depends on where you're at financially, I guess, if this is going to hurt you or not. So, more great memes. The CEO of Silicon Valley Bank, after selling 4 million worth of his stocks the day before the collapse. Now, isn't that a shocker? A day before the collapse, these guys are selling off stuff. You know, I brought a report on Saturday about how Jim Cramer over there on MSNBS was telling people just 3 weeks ago, like February 8th, buy SVB, buy SVB. I mean, we see this from these guys. It's a smash and grab. We've been saying it's a smash and grab, but this is a controlled smash and grab. And a lot of people have brought a lot of validity to the fact that that's what they're doing. This is controlled. But yesterday, there was a video release. Now, like I said, I do not know who the source of this video is. For all I know, it could be a deep fake, and that's the point, and that's why I'm bringing it, because if you know anything about Project Bluebeam, the whole base of Project Bluebeam is to have the American public so fucking confused that we don't know what to believe. Is it real? Is it not real? And this is the period of time that we're going into with the chats and the AI generated information that's now putting out there, right? I mean, they're saying that they're going to completely outsource journalists. So they don't need them. They've got the GPT chat. We've been playing with the GPT chat a good bit. Kind of creepy what it says and how it says it. And I think I've got some on the deck further down, but I want you guys to listen to this. This was supposedly Biden caught on a hot mic the day before yesterday, talking about how we just need to use the media to completely, control the narrative and tell the public what we want them to hear. So let's listen to it. You guys give me your opinion, deep fake or not.
Like all the money's gone and a collapse is imminent. But we have to stay calm and think of ways to prevent a bank run so we can get ours. Let's ensure that all banks are flocking, talking with each other and sharing information in real time using the back channels we set up in October. And let's use the full force of the media to calm the public and to assure them that their deposits are safe. We may not be able to prevent a collapse, but if we work together, we can limit the fallout for us and preserve the continuity of government.
So Jilly sent me that yesterday. Jilly, you are amazing. You are the mod Marvin. But I don't know. I couldn't fake. Yeah. So many people are saying it's fake. It's fake. But would we be shocked? I mean, this doesn't even have to come out for us to know that this is what they're doing, right? I mean, we can talk about Event 201 and how a huge portion of the exercise in Event 201 was controlling the media. I really think Event 201 was more based in trying to figure out how to control the narrative than it was with, their little play pandemic that they were rolling out, which just happened to be COVID 6 weeks before COVID hit the mainstream. But I don't know, deep fake. That's where we're at, guys. We're not going to know. We're not going to know. We've got to not just cognitive skills, but we got to be extra vigilant about everything we're seeing, everything we're listening to, everything we're reading. So I'll bring it to you, but I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not. So that's the world we live in nowadays. I want to shout out the YouTubes. I haven't got a chance to do that. Letter symbol name. Good morning. Papa One, Shelly, welcome. John Kemper. Of course, Jilly Love. Jilly's here. I saw Jax. Jax is hanging out. Welcome, Jax. Still slaying it on YouTube like you always do. Oz the Boomer, you're home. How you doing, Oz? Let's meet up after the show. I definitely want to hear all the deets about your doctor visit. Who else is hanging out in here? I know It's Cold Fusion's hanging out. Thank you, Fusion, for always tuning in. I see you guys hanging out. Peace Dev. Good morning, Peace Dev. So yeah, I will shout you guys out again towards the end of the show when there's more of you in here. So let's keep going with this bank BS. What do we got here? So Biden's program for mass hunger and food stamps being cut back from 42 million. Now, I have been reporting this to you guys for 3 months, right? I've been telling you food stamp cuts are coming. How crazy is it that the food stamp cuts just happen to hit at the same time that the banks are having issues, right? I don't know. I find it not a coincidence. I find it intentional. And the same time that they're kicking mass people off of medical too. I'm getting kicked off medical too. And I can tell you, I'm already feeling this in our household, my mother-in-law lives with us, and of course she gets like $900 a month to live on. And then because they gave her an extra $50 or $60 they cut her food stamps. So $135 a month. That's what she is expected to live on. And that's not just her. It's from coast to coast. This is what our seniors are dealing with. And then, the way that they used to supplement that is through Meals on Wheels, right? You could get Meals on Wheels delivered to your house if you're over a certain age or if you have needs. And of course, Trump cut Meals for Wheels the first day he was in office. I didn't see Biden ever come in and fix that. Or, we know it's the uniparty. Biden doesn't give two shits about getting Meals for Wheels back out there. So it's sad. All of the fail safes that we used to have to feed the seniors in our country, we don't have them anymore, and we don't give a goddamn shit is what it comes down to. So a lot of people are going to be tightening up their belts this month and the months to come, right? The food banks are completely inundated where I am. I mean, the line now, the food bank opens at 1:00 on the days that I go. It opens at 9 on some days, but people literally are lining up an hour and a half before the food bank opens up. You just you get your car, because ever since COVID, now it's a drive-through thing. You used to go into the food bank. Now you just drive through. They're out in the parking lot just throwing food in the back of the car. But the things they used to give out, they're having to stretch further. They're getting less donations. I mean, I don't know how people are going to do it. And who is this going to hurt the most? This financial crunch. It always hurts us at the bottom the most, the fastest, right? Middle income, you guys are going to see this one. And because this isn't a grab for the poor. They already took all of our shit. They already took my 401k in 2008. They already took our houses in 2008. They already took from the poor. Now this is a grab for the middle class. And Amber and Oz and I have been screaming it for years now. They're coming after your 401k. They're coming after the equity in your houses. This is all that's left in our economy that they can literally take from us, right? Because they've inflated and faked so much that this is what's left. And I feel bad because the middle class is going to take this one on the chin the hardest, I believe. Silicon Valley Bank clients will get funds even those that weren't insured, the government said, oh, even those who weren't insured. How the fuck does that happen? Oh, I know. A bailout. You won't bail out the people. You wouldn't help us save houses or 401ks, but we're going to save the banks like we always do. You don't need to worry about a banking collapse if you got nothing in the bank. And kind of that's where I'm at. I'm covering this story for you guys, of course, because it's interesting for the rest of the country. But for me personally, I don't keep money in banks. And, I might get paid through a bank, but it goes out as fast as it comes in to bills, right? Oh, here's $1,000. Okay, well, you have $1,500 in bills. Have fun paying your bills. I mean, there's never but pennies in any of my accounts. And I know a lot of you guys are like that too. So does this hurt us? Yeah, it does, but it's not just wiping out our money, right? Uh, I feel bad for everybody. Jilly, if on Section 8 only pays 1/3 of income for rent, so maybe you'd have more cash. Right. Section 8 waiting list. I had 3 kids. I was on the Section 8 waiting list a couple of different times in my life because, of course, you have to, if I was making too much money, then I couldn't qualify. And then if I would lose a job or I wasn't getting paid enough, then I get back on the list and it would be 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 8 years. And by the time I would get closer to qualifying, then of course I'd probably be making more money. And then I was back to the bottom of the list. So honestly, 3 kids, single mom, making minimum wage. I never once got close to getting Section 8. Could I have tried harder? Yeah, I could have tried harder for a lot of social programs. But I was that pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. I am not going to depend on the government for anything. The little bit they give me, yeah, I'd take. But for the most part, fuck it. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to pay my bills. That's where I was at. So there's been so many problems with the Section 8 program. I did a report, I don't know, like a year ago, where literally you could move your Section 8 from one county to another, but then they were paying you mass. Like if you moved to San Francisco, their Section 8 there would put you to the top of the list and give you all kinds of money. And yeah, it's crazy. We know that there's a lot of scamming that goes on in those programs, right? We audited a homeless shelter that was handed $10 million locally to find out what the hell they were doing with the money. They always end up fucking pocketing it. It's always the administrators, We know that. So, yeah, we got problems with all of our social safety nets. Okay, so let's hear what Richard Wolff has to say via Galloway's Moats. And yeah, Richard Wolff, he's been the man to watch for a long time when it comes to the economy.
And 9. And the great question this weekend, rattling New York City, where I sit, and the whole country, is how bad will this get? How long will this last? How many other banks are hiding the same situation that can no longer be hidden by the bank in Silicon Valley, which has, I assume been liquidated? It's out of existence. It's utterly bankrupt. This is a sign. No one should miss it. It comes 3 or 4 weeks after another failure of a private enterprise or of the government regulation to keep us safe. That was in the little town of East Palestine, Ohio, when a private profit railroad cut corners on safety, destroyed a community, thereby exposing that the government supposedly regulating them has been captured by those it's supposed to regulate, and so it doesn't do its job. But this has happened over and over. It's an endless repetition of a fundamental flaw in our system. You cannot have the social welfare protected if the people charged with doing that have a private profit objective, which is a higher priority for them. That contradiction has never been faced and never been resolved, giving us an endless series of these kinds of breakdowns, which will ramify.
Well, that was a bad cut. It cut him right off at the end, but he's right. This is controlled, right? We know that this is controlled because we haven't seen a ton of other, we've seen Signature Bank and a couple of others, but If you listen to anybody who understands what the fuck is really going on, this is a controlled teardown and grab of the crypto, right? Crypto is a direct, um, oh, it's a direct, how would I explain it? It's direct opposition to what they wanna put out with this CBDC, right? So what they gotta do is they've gotta get control of these Silicon Valley, startups, put some of them out of business. They're saying a lot of them aren't gonna go out of business, they're just getting bought up by these other entities. Do I think that all the big banks in the country we're gonna see, what we saw in the '30s, with, all the banks going down? No, no, we're not gonna see that. This is specific banks that deal with a lot of crypto, and they got to put crypto down in order to get their own digital currency out there. And how are they going to do that? So they tear it completely down. They're going to rebuild it, right? Like, oh, look, we're rebuilding it. And we're going to be able to hand you guys UBI because we have CBDCs. And that's what I see coming. This is just more Orwellian control, consolidation. And we'll watch it play out in the next couple of weeks and months. But I believe that's what's going on here. So yeah, this is a funny meme. I thought this was hilarious. So Silicon Valley Bank Spirit of Halloween. Isn't that funny? They always turn empty buildings into Spirit of Halloween. So I want to say this was anonymous, and I don't always agree with what this channel has to say, but this is true. Come on, play.
In November of 2019, right before COVID, the Institute of Politics at Harvard Kennedy School had a live tabletop exercise called Digital Currency Wars, which looked at how the United States can continue to leverage economic power in a world of national digital currencies, such as the Chinese digital yuan, which is already heavily competing in trade against the US dollar and seems to be at the forefront of centralized digital currencies. And it has an expiry date. If you don't spend it by then, it becomes worthless, so people can no longer save money. The Bank of International Settlements has announced that the central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations and will have technologies to enforce it. The Central Bank of Brazil is planning to launch their centralized digital currency in 2024. Israel is about to launch theirs, and the Bank of England is now preparing a UK digital currency. Italy's new Prime Minister, Meloni, is speaking out against the cashless society, but she seems to stand alone on the world stage. In the Federal Reserve's digital currency scheme, it appears that Hedera and Quant will be used on the technology side. They are already connected to everything. The cashless society is here, but everyone is talking about Hunter Biden's laptop. The tyrants are still getting exactly what they wanted. And once it's all said and done, then who will save you?
And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything.
But it doesn't matter if you are a political activist or an obedient sheep, because the banks are planning on taking all of your money to pay off their debts.
I mean, it's a little bit conflicted, right? I mean, it's important that people understand they can be bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institution. But they're going to be. That's
the FDIC currently has less than $200 billion in assets to insure over $9 trillion. That's just 1.3%. They know that a system collapse is coming, and they are already planning for bail-ins. As trust begins to fail, the people will begin to withdraw their funds, which will only guarantee a banking collapse. This is known as a bank run. In 2012, the International Monetary Fund, known for their reputation of coercion, violence, and extortion, published staff discussion notes entitled From Bailout to Bail-In: Mandatory Debt Restructuring of Systemic Financial Institutions. After the 2008 crisis, the world learned what a bailout is. Trillions of taxpayer dollars printed out of thin air to pay off the bankers' bad habits. It was hugely unpopular, but pales in comparison to a bail-in. So what exactly is a bail-in? It is officially obfuscated with elaborate equations, but to put it simply, it is when the bank steals your money directly from your account.
Now, you remember we brought that video a couple of weeks ago of people at a Bank of America, I want to say somewhere in the Midwest, and they were screaming because their money was missing. Like, oh, I have $1,500 in this account, and now it's gone. And there was a whole line of people, and it was just a cell phone recording. Somebody was walking around, are you missing money? Are you missing money too? And they're all standing in line going, yeah, our money is missing. And, B of A said, oh, it's just a glitch. We put the money back. So, yeah, we're going to learn what bail-ins are. And let us not, I don't know if you guys heard this, and I didn't bring the report, but the petrodollar took a hell of a hit the last couple of days. And that was because China and Saudi Arabia are coming together to be friends again. They got over, the whole fighting in Yemen and all of that. So they're friends and they're going to gang up on us. And you don't hear American media talking about that. You don't hear how all of these other countries have decided, you know what, we're done. We're going to start trading petro in Chinese currency or, in other currencies. So this is the Great Reset. We've been calling it for a long time. This is just another phase of it. And that's where we're at. So bail-ins. Yes, bail-ins. And of course, I had to bring Kim Iverson's opinion of this because I think that she's got it right on this. And when Kim's got it right, Kim's got it right. I don't always agree with Kim, but she's right on this. So let's check it out.
To help them out when needed. One question we should be asking is, why didn't the Fed do it for this solvent bank this time? Why did the Fed let this solvent bank fail? Again, it wasn't because this bank made risky investments or bad loans. This bank bought bonds, lots of them, from the Fed. Now, the Fed has the power to pick and choose when to help a bank and when to let it fail. And this was a bank with good assets and great clients. In fact, the biggest banks, the very banks who are the shareholders of the Federal Reserve, coveted the clients of SVB for a very long time and wanted nothing more but to gain Silicon Valley's business. And now they can, because Silicon Valley Bank is gone. Now there will be further consolidation of smaller banks into the larger ones, making it all that much easier to roll out a central bank digital currency and social credit score for us.
Exactly. In DC, absolutely. Iran and Saudi Arabia brokered peace by China. Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's how they crushed the petrodollar, right? They've wanted to crush the petrodollar forever. They've got the opportunity. And Kim's right. People think that, oh, well, the banks were just taking money and pocketing it, the CEOs, but that's not what happened. These banks bought bonds. They bought from the Fed. And so if anybody is to blame for what's going on right now, it is obviously the goddamn Fed. But that's not what'll ever be told or talked about, right? We know that. Lizzie, that's a crazy story. Disclosure Disclosure TV, if you don't know who that is. They've always been labeled as misinformation, but I find them, credible from day to day. Russian fighter just struck a USAF MQ-9 Reaper drone over the Black Sea, reports the U.S. European Command. So there you go. It only takes one little spark to start a fire, and that's one hell of a spark if you look at it that way. Oh, I want to go back and look at that meme. The Jim Cramer meme. JP Morgan is a fortress. Yeah, I don't know. I go against anything that guy would have to say. Oh, he seems to be totally full of shit. Oh, Bernie had to weigh in on what's going on. And you guys know, Bernie's Bernie, and Bernie only knows one trick. And that trick is blame Trump. And so that's exactly what he did. March 12th, Senator Sanders on Sunday issued the following statement on the Silicon Valley Bank. Let's be clear. The failure of Silicon Valley Bank is a direct result of an obscure 2018 banking deregulation bill signed by none other than Donald Trump. then I strongly opposed. 5 years ago, the Republican director of the Congress Budget Office released a report finding that the legislation would increase the likeliness that a large financial firm with assets of between $100 billion and $250 billion would fail. Unfortunately, this is precisely what happened. During the debate over the legislation, I said, are our members so short that we learned nothing from 2008's Wall Street crash? Have we learned nothing from the savings and loans disasters of the early 90s? Or the thievery of Wells Fargo over the last couple of years, or dishonesty of Equifax, or the accounting from Enron. And yeah, so Bernie goes on to say, I told you guys so, I told you so, I told you so. And yeah, it's the Trump administration that created this bill. So I love that Elizabeth Warren tweets out, bank failures are a direct result of leaders in Washington's weakening the financial rules. In 2018, Donald Trump signed a law rolling back critical protections. I fought these changes and I warned the banks would run up a risk. I wish I was wrong. And I love Eric G. I don't know who he is. He says, shut the fuck up. Bill Clinton signed the repeal of Glass-Steagall Act. That alone has allowed these banks to act like casinos. Ever heard the parable about the boy who cried wolf? Trump, Trump, Trump. Trump is all your commies cry. And yeah, all the Dems, classic, out there screaming about Trump, but they don't want to talk about Obama and refusing to put regulations out that would have stopped this in 08. We knew he wouldn't. We knew they didn't, but we have been screaming. I mean, you could go back and look at everything Bill Clinton did, everything Obama did. They did the same shit. It's a uniparty, and stop blaming the left or the right. They're both doing it. It's crony capitalism. They reached out. They took your money. Willie Bragg, so glad to see you in the chat. Welcome. Yeah, we're just bitching about the bank. So, I had to bring you guys a united spot, because if we don't make light of this, what else are we going to do? We're just sitting here watching the world burn. So let's laugh about it.
Hey, do you like money but just never seem to have any? Well, that's all Trump's fault. Are you homeless, poor, hungry, and scared? Well, that's Trump's fault too. Did your bank just shut down with no warning? You know why? Because it's all Trump's fault. High inflation, high gas prices? Yep, you guessed it. That's all Trump's fault too. Joe, what about the food shortage? Come on, man. That's totally Trump's fault. And the stock market crash? That's Trump's fault too. Listen here, folks. The border crisis, the $75 billion to Ukraine, my low approval rating, Hunter's laptop, World War I, World War II, and World War III. Yep, you guessed it. It's all Trump's fault. That's right, people. Everything that's going wrong in America, it's all Trump's fault. Not a joke. So when you're homeless and hungry and living on the streets, when CPS takes your kids and you end up in jail, do the right thing and blame Trump. It's what Jesus would do.
Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. And yes, I understand, Fred. I'm so tired of the every Democrat's a commie bullshit. So exhausting explaining establishment Dems are not communists. I know, right? World War IV as well as we know it. Absolutely, indeed. That's where we're at. I think I might have a couple more memes on this, and then we'll move on. Let's see. Medicare for all, bailing out the banks, right? All we wanted to do was take care of the people, but F you, you're evil. Wait, it's bank collapsing season already? I still have my train derailment decorations up. And yeah, this is what it comes down to. Look left, look right, look over here. Don't look behind the curtain. So that's where we're at. We're going to keep an eye on this banking failure. Like we've said for a long time now, we knew this was coming. We knew this is just more of the great reset and them getting control. They've got to get control, and they have to do it with these central digital banking currencies that we see coming. And yeah, I have had to contend with cashless fucking problems a couple of damn times in the last month, and it's pissing me off. So I traveled to Seattle to go protest Fauci and to protest the war, right? And I couldn't even ride the rail in downtown Seattle because you can only use a card to get on the fucking rail. And I have cards, and yeah, I can put money on them. It costs me money to put money on them. I use them when I need to. But for the most part, I'm a poor person. I carry cash, My father-in-law was, he was a Jew. He was a Polish Jew, and he was direct immigrant. He came here, before World War II. He fought in World War II. He was actually shot in the chest. He had like a cannonball-sized hole in his chest where he got shot. And he just pounded it into me. I was young, 18, 19. Don't use credit. Do not use credit. That is how they control you. You don't want to be a part of their credit system. Always use cash. That way, if you're buying something, you have the cash for it. You can afford it. You own it outright. Never let them leverage you like that. That's what I took away from, being around that man. And to this day, I still don't. I have never played into the credit system. I've probably carried one of the lowest credits of anybody in history my whole entire life because I just don't. I don't. I mean, okay, you can have a credit card. I don't want a credit card. Every day I get invites to apply for credit cards, for Beauty and the Boomer or whatnot. I just throw them straight in the trash. Why would I give a leverage like that just to somebody? So I've never been a person who uses cash. But the other day I was at Walmart and, go up to scan, they've got the new machines that take pictures of your hands and everything that you're scanning, blah, blah, blah. And they just updated the machines locally here. And so I start scanning my food, my whatever. Of course, it's a split sale because I'm going to use the SNAP EBT to cover the food portion of the sale that's on there. And then the household stuff I'm going to pay cash for. So I pay for the food portion and now it gives me my balance. It's like $40. You got to put $40 in there and the whole sale will be over. It won't take my money. It won't take my money. It won't take my money. So we're standing there, yelling at the Walmart employee who stands over you and doesn't actually work, who just watches you work. And he's like, oh, well, that machine doesn't take cash. And I'm like, well, where does it say anywhere on this machine that it doesn't take cash? I don't see a little foldy thing at the end that says card only. I don't see a sign that says card only. It's not flashing a color that tells me it's card only. You're supposed to just be able to fucking guess that it doesn't take cash. Basically, I had to cancel that transaction, re-ring up everything at a different freaking belt so I could pay cash at a Walmart. I mean, I live in a retirement community with a lot of people who don't look at those machines. They don't read the machine. You walk up to the machine, what do? You scan your first item. You're not reading what it says. I figure it's just going to say, support Ukraine, give us money. So I'm not reading the damn thing. It's very frustrating. We are going to be a cashless society very, very shortly. If you're using cash, you see it because I'm seeing it everywhere in my small little podunk town. And it sucks. So who is this hurting the most? Well, here you go. This is a oldie but a goodie that I made a while ago. Biden bills are popping up everywhere. Build back stronger. This is a big fucking deal. Yeah. And Jilly sent me this yesterday. This is what they call Veterans Row in Los Angeles. And yeah, that's how we take care of our vets. So go to war and then you can have a tent with a flag on it in LA. That's how we'll take care of you. Very sad. I just find that heartbreaking. Why do we have to be that way? Right. It doesn't have to be that way. We choose to be that way. Greed makes us that way. So as a part of this coming digital future, of course, we will need digital IDs. Now, Australia has officially rolled out its new digital ID, and I'm sure America's will be somewhat similar. So let's check it out.
The state government is about to launch a new form of digital ID that means you'll never have to hand over your personal details to anyone again. It will all be stored in the Service New South Wales app on your phone, which will prove you are who you say you are.
Scanning his licence, passport and Medicare card, in less than 3 minutes, the minister proves he really is Victor Dominello.
This is unquestionably the Holy Grail.
This is your first look at the state's new digital ID.
This is a huge step forward in giving back people control over their data, control over their identity.
Personal credentials will be stored on your device. No IDs need to be handed over. And that means keeping your address and birth date to yourself. If you need to hire a car, rent a property, set up a bank account, check into a hotel, or prove you're over 18 to buy alcohol or attend an event.
All you need to do is tap your phone and that will be a validation that you are real.
Australians from, the kitchen table to the boardroom table would have an increased anxiety following the deluge of data breaches we saw late last year.
But this seeks to take away the risk because companies will never have a copy of your details in the first place.
Right. These
But how
guys,
can it trust
it wasn't over.
you are who you say you are? Well, you'll need to take a selfie, which will be cross-checked against other forms of ID you've submitted, and when there's a match, you're good to go. The technology will be opt-in and should be available later this year.
Okay, so you can opt in, you can't opt out. You can opt in. And I agree. These databases get hacked every damn day, right? So everybody will have all of your biometrics. They will have all of your data. But hey, you don't have to say your birthday or show your ID if you want to buy alcohol. Isn't it convenient for you? I mean, this is where we're going. And we know that Australia is going to roll everything out first. We saw them during the Rona being just insanely authoritarian, right? Remember, they were shipping you off to camps and making you pay $1,400 if you got thrown in one of these camps. It was insane. I mean, poor Australia. Poor Australia. Okay, let's move on to the election. I got a couple of things on that. So Biden expected to okay Alaskan Oil Project, a blow to his green base. And of course, this is the Willow Project, I believe is what it's called, the Willow Oil Project, yes. So Biden's going to approve this, and movements like the Sunrise Movement are losing their shit. And I just had to tweet at him like, we warned you guys. We told you. His history told you. His record told you. But oh no, you thought you could push him left. Remember, that's what they told us. When we went after the Sunrise Movement for endorsing Biden, they were like, oh, but we're going to push him left. I know you guys remember that. What a crock. Let's see what else is on this one. So, oh yeah. Marianne Williamson is shocked. I tell you, just shocked. Over the fact that no more drilling on federal lands, period. And then he just approves the largest drilling project being considered on federal lands. Are we shocked after what we saw during the DAPL pipeline, right? Are you shocked? That was Obama. Obama sent private security forces to beat down a Native American tribe over oil. Do you guys not remember? It was Obama who actually opened Alaska up to drilling. Trump. Somehow we got to blame this on Trump. I'm shocked they're not blaming this on Trump. They just haven't figured out how to do it right, I guess, is what it is. So one theft, two theft, red theft, blue theft. It's all the same. Yeah, Dr. US. It's the Uniparty. We know it's the Uniparty. And I just get so tired of the whole left, right, Trump. This isn't Trump. This is your beloved Biden doing this. And why is he doing this? Because Iran, China, and Saudi Arabia just got together to beat our ass on the petrodollar. And we need that oil up in Alaska to fucking compete. And people need to wake up, because just because we need to save the environment. I mean, in the same breath, MSNBC or CNN will report the largest chunk of ice just broke off the ice shelf. And then they're like, oh, and Biden's going to do some drilling in Alaska. Not a big deal. I mean, that's the reality of the media where we live. This one's just funny. Check this out. So I can't stop looking at the picture of Sarah Huckabee Sanders signing the child labor amendment and comparing the adults and children's expressions. Look at those kids. It's like they know they just got put to work. Oh my gosh. Did you see the one with her? I don't think I brought it, where she's sitting in a dress, cross-legged. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. So I didn't bring it. But yeah, Uniparty. There you go. There's the Uniparty. Oh, this one's a great one too. I think I got this from Revolutionary Black Network. And yeah, Green Party abandons oppositions to NATO. So members of the Green Party of England and Wales have voted to abandon their longstanding position on NATO. Prior to the vote, the party's policy stated that NATO is not sustainable mechanism for maintaining peace in the world, and said that the Green Party would take the UK out of NATO. Well, now they don't believe that. No, not at all. So yes, this is the UK, but they've lost their fucking minds. They have lost their fucking minds. Oh, so apparently NATO is now a sustainable mechanism for maintaining peace in the world, according to the Green Party of Wales. So, and just a couple of reminders, if you're progressive, the road to your movement inside the Democratic Party leads to a graveyard. Yes, Shama. And I think the Democratic Party has learned a valuable lesson and is ready to adopt a much more progressive agenda. This is one of my favorite kickbacks from 2016. Yeah, they learned nothing, as the progressives did. They learned nothing. But hey, let's vote for Marianne Williamson. Oh, this is kind of a gross story, guys. So I try to bring you guys some environmental stuff. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. There's millions and millions of dead fish on the south coast of Australia. It's getting so bad, they're literally bucketing them up and taking them out by the tons a couple of times a week. So this is an ongoing issue that they're having. But why are the fish dying? Never once in this report do they even address why the fish are dying. So let's check it out.
2 months on, millions of dead fish continue to wash up along the state's south coast. It's causing a stink for local businesses, with visitors staying away in droves.
It's the dead fish phenomenon that should have been flushed out weeks ago.
You got to wash the fish sauce off you when you come in.
But at Middleton Point today, this well was pumping. Dozens of surfers out this morning keen to get a wave after avoiding the area for months.
Well, there hasn't been much surf, so when there's an opportunity, you grab it.
And if you step on the fish, their guts squirt everywhere, and it's disgusting. There was some good waves, though.
Middleton's been one of the worst affected beaches, where millions of juvenile European carp have been flushed out of the Murray Mouth and into the sea, the stench putting tourists off. It's hurting local businesses desperate to cash in what should be peak summer season.
We weren't alone. The surf hire companies down here were experiencing a significant downturn. We just haven't had people in.
With the March-long weekend and Easter around the corner, they're pleading with tourists to come on down.
This week we have got some good winds and some good tides for moving the fish, so we're optimistic that things will look good for next weekend.
It remains unclear how long this stinky situation will stick around, with locals fearing it could take months before the fish are completely flushed out.
None of this is perfect or easy, so we'd ask for a little bit of patience from visitors in particular.
The Department for Primary Industries has been handling the situation since mid-January. Since then, contractors have undertaken 7 cleanups, removing close to 20 tonnes of dead fish, and plans are in place for another cleanup tomorrow.
7. They've done 7 cleanups of that beach already, and they've got more. But you didn't hear them even. Nobody once said, "Why are all these fish here? Why are they dying? Why are they washing up?" We see mass die-offs all over the world all the time. Kate says back in the 60s, Lake Michigan had dead. Alewives everywhere. Yeah, I mean, there's always reasons for these die-offs. A lot of it is pollution, chemical runoff, there's always some reason, but it is the height of summer over there. So, ew, I feel bad for them. Let's talk about Stacey Plaskett. So delegate, remember, she's only a delegate from the Virgin Islands. Of course, this is a woman, one of the women, and look, Ro the Ho just happens to be sitting behind her. This is one of the delegates that attacked Matt Taibbi last week, and she is an absolute 100% paid, handpicked super delegate shill. And let us not forget that she is a representative from the U.S. Virgin Islands who accept donations from Epstein after he was registered as an SA. Of course, I can't say those words on YouTube, but I mean, why was nobody screaming that? I mean, we were all screaming that, but still, why is she even there? If I was Matt Taibbi, I would have been like, how much kickback did you take from Epstein? I would have burned her to the ground just sitting there. I don't know why he didn't, but he's got more couth than I could ever have, because I couldn't sit there and take that shit that he took last week. And what else does it say? So you're telling me the most armed citizens in the world had an unarmed insurrection? Yeah, I'm so tired of hearing about the insurrection. Now, I know a lot of you guys watched Jimmy Dore yesterday with Robert Kennedy Jr. on there. He said a lot of shit that made me unhappy. I mean, Oz sent me a message like, "Are you listening to this?" And I came in a little bit late. So I ran over to the Rockfin and backed it up so I could hear what he was saying. The fact that he thinks that J6 was an insurrection, okay, well, that's a problem. There was just problem after problem that he kept saying. I mean, the fact that he thinks that he can work within the Democratic Party. Obviously, you know nothing. It makes me sad because I think he's just another career politician. Do I think that he has a chance with the voice that he has? Yeah, he's a Kennedy. Of course, he's going to get a lot more stage time, debate time, and interviews than, say, a Bernie Sanders. But like I told Oz, he says anything that's worth a shit, the CIA will just kill him like they did his whole family, sadly. I mean, I love that he goes after Fauci. I love that he calls out Big Pharma. And, you know, I'll definitely be watching his campaign. But I don't think that there's any candidate that could come forward where I would just jump on board like I did for Bernie Sanders, give up my whole life, give up every spare penny I have, travel to every meeting, every event that I can get to. I would never do that. There isn't one candidate out there that I would do that for nowadays. Absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'll support Jimmy if he runs, but does he have a snowball chance in health? No, I don't think any of these guys do, because as we found out, because of the Jared and Elizabeth Beck lawsuit in Florida in 2017, the DNC has the right to go into a smoke-filled back room and choose their candidate. We don't choose, guys, and they get to play around with the primaries all they want. As we come into 2024, we hear a lot of BS of what the Democrats want to do with the primary. And why is that? So they can control it. They've had a lot of problems the last 2 times out controlling shit that was happening in real time, and they're planning for that now. So this next one's going to be even worse than the last 2, and we know it. So he had a chance to get mercied. Yeah, mercied for sure, DC. How's it going, DC? How's my sound today, DC? Let's see. No, yeah. Shocker. This one's a shocker. So AP, Pfizer buys Sagan for $43 billion and boosts access to cancer drugs. Now I got to be careful because I'm on YouTube. Maybe Pasta and I'll get into this on Thursday, but how ironic that a whole bunch of people are going to get cancer in the future, maybe from something that they implemented, and now they own a bunch of good cancer drugs. It's just a coinky dink. It has to be a coinky dink. That couldn't be intentional, right? Sad, but the elitist take from RFK. Yeah, you know, of course I'm going to back what RFK is saying, especially when it's going after Fauci and Big Pharma and shit. But you got to have a full picture for me to get on board with you anymore. And I don't think anybody who plays in this system I can get on board with. Absolutely not. I got another one here from Revolutionary Blackout Network. So this is the DOJ says marijuana use, which Biden thinks should not be a crime, nullifies the Second Amendment. You hear that, Yona? You ain't got no Second Amendment right because you smoke the ganja. Even as the president bemoans the injustice of pot prohibition, his administration insists that cannabis consumers have no rights to arms. You have no rights. So let's see. Nick says, as red states continue to legalize marijuana, you have Jim Crow Joe that is using marijuana as an excuse to disarm Americans and rob them of their Second Amendment right. What do you think? Well, I'll tell you what I think. I grew up in a house full of domestic violence and alcoholism, and every time Daddy would get drunk, that fucking gun would come out. And, you know, as a 13-year-old child, I wrestled loaded shotguns out of my father's mouths and hands when he was completely blackout drunk. I was a staunch advocate about Second Amendment rights, you know, up until 2017, 2016. And mind you, my father did end up blowing his head off. He did. I can't say that word, the S word, but he did commit, you know. And so, of course, I wanted to see households that had domestic violence in them not have access to guns. I voted against myself when it came to that one. I knew, but I still, as a kid who grew up in a domestic violence house with alcohol, I thought for sure guns and alcohol don't belong together. But marijuana and guns, that's a totally different effing story. You don't see somebody get stoned and then go terrorize his family with a goddamn shotgun. No, you don't see that at all. You see them sitting in front of the fridge or Netflixing and chilling. I just don't think that there's any comparison. And for the Biden administration to make a comparison like that, they're out of their effing minds. That one pisses me off, right? As an avid marijuana user, I completely think this is BS. So fight back, guys. You know, I used to be all about, oh, we got to take guns and we got to regulate them and we can't have assault rifles. You're only hunting people with nope. I don't say a goddamn word anymore. And they reach out to me constantly. I used to actually go down to Olympia and testify in front of our house over these issues, and absolutely not anymore. I will not. I think every American should have a right to the Second Amendment to bear arms. I don't care. I just think at this time and place that we're at in history, now is not the time to be pulling people's rights away from them. And I thought this was interesting. Let's check this out. Let's see. Global antidepressant use per 100 or per 1,000 people. Look at that. The U.S. has the highest. Isn't that insane? Number of people out of 1,000 people who use antidepressants. So 110 Americans use antidepressants out of 1,000. What is that percentage wise? I'm not good with percentages, but that's like at least over 10%, right? Denmark's up there, Canada's up there, Australia. Why Iceland? What's going on with you guys? Why are you so depressed? I thought you guys were one of those good, like, you know, happy places. That one kind of confuses me. Why Iceland? I guess maybe it's cold and depressing. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Hey, good morning, Amber. What's up? If MK guns use was legal and the government couldn't experiment on us, we would have a lot less mass shootings. Probably. I'll have to check out that link. If you guys are over in the Rockfin, I see a bunch of good links getting dropped over there. I always go check it out after the show and make sure I don't miss anything you guys are sending me. So let's talk about Elon. Is Elon going to run for president? Can Elon run for president? So there's a lot of channels out there that are clickbaity because they're out there saying Elon's going to run. So let's watch this, and then we're going to talk about, can Elon really even run?
It's important to note that a presidential campaign is a long and complex process. It's not a decision that should be taken lightly. Musk would need to consider the impact on his current companies, his family, and his own well-being. Additionally, he would need to build a campaign organization, raise funds, and develop a campaign platform and message that resonates with voters. It's also worth considering that the speculation around Musk's candidacy is just that, speculation. And until there is an official announcement, it remains uncertain if he will indeed run for president in 2024. It's also worth considering the potential impact of a Musk presidency on the environment and energy policy. Musk has been a vocal advocate for renewable energy and has been instrumental in the development of electric cars and the advancement of solar power. As president, he could potentially push for policies that promote sustainable energy sources, such as solar and wind power, and invest in research and development to reduce dependence on fossil fuels.
Thank you, Kate. You know, I watched this whole 8-minute long video, like, oh, Elon gonna run? And then I start thinking about it, I'm like, wait a minute. He's not even a fucking American citizen. He hasn't been naturalized and he wasn't born in America. Of course, he is South African and Canadian. His mother was Canadian. His father was South African. So yeah, total BS, a clickbait. Don't buy it. Do I think that he would run if he could run? Oh, much like Arnie? Heck yeah. I think Arnold would have ran if he could have. And I do believe that Elon would have ran if he could have. So we'll keep an eye on it. If he gets naturalized, I don't know. Can he even do that if he gets naturalized? Or you got to live here for so long? I don't know what the rule is. I know you got to be 35 and you got to meet all the criteria, but he does not meet the criteria currently. So no, Elon will not be running for president. So stop with the clickbaity shit over on YouTube's, guys. Oz, did you put this on the deck? Because I swore I was saving it for Beauty and the Boomer, but that's okay. We'll show it tonight. We were going to use this for fashion this coming Saturday, but I'll show you guys tonight. How crazy is this? This, of course, is Fashion Week. And they brought out the Robo Dogs to hang out with the models. wow, what a perverted dog. So that is just programming, guys. That's all that is. That is, hey, like the robo dog, he's kind, he's cool. They get the elites like, oh, hey, I saw it at a fashion show. Yeah, they're really cool. So just more warming you up to the coming state, right? I watched a video the other day. I think it was in China, and all these people are walking up, and there's a robodog like standing at this entryway, and most of the people don't even acknowledge it's there. They just walk right past it, like they don't even see it. But then there's like a couple of people who are freaked out by it, like whoa, 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 like what is this robot dog here? And then they just move past it. So I guess they want us to get used to seeing robo dogs around. They're going to be around. The robo dog does nasty stuff. I know. I pulled that lady's shirt off. How? Smoking more of the weeds. Yeah, I haven't yet. I don't in the morning because my brain in the morning like doesn't fire right. So I must have had that on the wrong thing. So I wait till the afternoon. So you guys know I'm a night smoker. I'm not a day smoker. Let's see. Adobe has developed software that can detect Photoshop in an image. Uncanny. Look at Engage the Mind. NASA's losing their shit. Now, if you don't know what this is a reference to, of course it is a reference to the moon landing, because there's supposedly a lot of Photoshop and a lot of messing with those. And my retirement plan is the total collapse of society. I don't know who's selling that shirt, but that is a great shirt because that's definitely my retirement plan too. Like, hurry up already. This made me happy. So yesterday, of course, Kyle and Crystal had to go out there. I'm just going to call it the KK show, right? Had to go out there and talk all about the banks and, they're doing the right thing. But here, check it out. So I screenshot this picture and I send it to Oz and I go, somebody needs to make a meme about this being his mom. I'm totally laughing and joking about it. And not even 10 minutes later, Devin Young pops up with Eminem explaining to his mom how misunderstood he is. Freaking perfect. Yay. She looks like his mom. I'm sorry. If you look like his mom, you look like his mom. I'm not saying you are his mom. I'm just saying you look like his mom. I don't know. Do you guys see that? That was just too funny. Too funny. Jilly, I'm probably going to get punked for this one, but I'm still going to show it to you guys anyway. So Jilly sent me this yesterday, and it actually took me a full day to get it to upload onto the Google Drive. Now, Google is doing a new thing that if you're trying to upload things into the system that it doesn't approve of or is copyrighted or is, one of those controlled things, they just don't let you upload it. So I've been having a hell of a time, but I actually got this one to upload. So let's check it out. This is just a cute little cartoon. I don't know who made it. I don't know the source. That was a great little cartoon. The images of them just dropping those people into the grinder. I mean, that's very powerful because they're willing to sacrifice their people, our people, right? They've made it very, very clear. Good Good morning, Dingo, or afternoon, whatever it is in your neck of the woods. It's morning for me. Getting stoned and plinking cans with the 22 is most of my teenage years. Yeah, right. Right. I agree. Absolutely. Let's see what else do I got. Come on, go over. Let's see what's this. So, person literally dying. American hospitals come back when you're a little richer. Yeah, I mean, we saw that report of that woman who was arrested for not leaving the hospital when she was sick, and she died of a stroke in custody. Right? All she wanted to do was be seen, and sorry, you're poor. Get out of here. And did you guys see this yesterday? I'm glad there's no video of this. Warning, graphic video. Oh, okay. Well, I don't have the video, and I don't want to see the video. A new report details Walker County police deputies place a man in the jail kitchen freezer for discipline and left Mr. Anthony Mitchell in for too long, and he froze to death. Oops. Our bad. So yeah, now we're just putting people in the freezer and shutting the door as corporal capital punishment. I don't know. What the hell? What, I mean, you would think with the scrutiny that is on all of these different police forces for brutality, that this wouldn't even be something that would even cross any CO's mind, because obviously this is a correction officer that did this. We call them cops, but where I live, anybody can become a correction officer to our nearest prison, which is like, I don't know, 30 or 40 miles away. And you can make $15 an hour, and I think the training class is maybe a week long or something. I mean, literally, they're begging for COs in these private prisons that fuel a lot of the, that's one of the biggest employers in my area is our private prison. So I'm going to guess it was a CO who did it. That's just terrible. It's heartbreaking. And why I hope the family sues the shit out of them for wrongful death. I mean, that's what I'd be doing. Jilly, I think you sent me this and I found it most interesting. Let's see if I can see it. I need to find glasses though. Oh, I got glasses. Because if you guys can't read it, I definitely can't read it. So he says, hi, Chat GPT. If a 50 meteor asteroid, hit space on Valentine's Day in 2046, how will that affect my dinner plans at Rouse? Because of course you can ask the Chat GPT anything you want. And I keep telling you guys that I believe that this comet's going to hit us in 2046. They know it, and that is why they are on a deadline to get human consciousness uploaded by 2045, which is why the Elon's just been speeding along with his Neuralink transplant. Of course, we've heard some horrific stories about him killing multiple animals just because they just hurried up and embedded the neuro or the noids in their heads, and yeah, they're hell bent to get there. I hear my cat screaming. So as an AI language model, I must begin by starting that I can't predict the future with certainty. Now that we've got the bullshit out of the way, holy macaroni, if you and your date are planning to have dinner on Valentine's Day in 2046, you might want to make it an extra special one, because there is a chance that both of you will be meeting your ultimate demise. So yes, this is what the Chat GPT has to say. As Douglas Adams once wrote, the ship hung in the sky in much the same way that bricks don't. In other words, an asteroid impact of significant magnitude would be an incredibly destructive event. And unfortunately, there's always a chance that such an event can occur. Now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but the fact of the matter is that the world is going to end. As Adam wrote, the planet has, or rather had, a problem, which was this: most of the people living on it were unhappy for pretty much most of the time. It seems that we humans have a talent for making our own problems. Eventually, those problems will catch up with us. However, that doesn't mean we should give up hope. As Adam also wrote, I'd far rather be happy than right any day. We can still work towards making the most of the time we have and creating a better world for ourselves and future generations, even if the world world is going to end eventually. So my advice is to enjoy your Valentine's Day dinner with your date as much as possible and make the most of the time you have. As Adams wrote, don't panic. We can still live our lives to the fullest, even if we know that the world is going to end. So there you go. Pretty much ChatGPT says, yeah, we could end on Valentine's Day in 2046, but hey, you can't live your life in fear. So go out there, enjoy life, and be happy. But I love this where he says, I'd rather be happy than right. I mean, that's part of the problem we're seeing nowadays, right? I'd rather be happy than be right. Oh, what was that meme on that one? The older I get, the more you realize how precious life is. You have no desire for drama, conflict, or stress. You just want good friends, a cozy home, food on the table, and people who make you happy. And that is the bottom line, isn't it? And I have all of that. I don't do drama. I am the drama-free zone, man, because I live drama for so long in my life now. It just gives me anxiety if there's drama. And you guys are the best friends to ever have. I have the greatest, smartest chat on the interwebs. So I think we all find a little peace in it. What is this? So, oh yeah, just a reminder. I see people responding only the way they were programmed to respond. They don't even know that their actions are in response to the programming. Oh gosh, that's not so true. So sad. And just a reminder of all of the different generations. We talk about it a lot. The post-war generation, that's the silent generation. That's Bernie's generation, right? And I didn't know there was 2 boomer generations. Did you guys? Boomer 1 and Boomer 2. So are you a Boomer 1 or a Boomer 2? Let me know in the chat. I just thought that was crazy. And why is there no Gen X 1 and Gen X 2? So confused. Apparently Boomers got an extra 20 years. This is a great story. And it actually cites Noam Chomsky. But anyway, so crows know something, a big thing. Scientists find crows are capable of recognition, a cognitive ability that we to be unique to humans. So this article went on to talk about Noam Chomsky, of course, linguist Noam Chomsky, and how he has always said that it's only humans that can do that, right? Maybe 1 or 2 other species out there. I think one was not a monkey, but a chimpanzee or something like that. So I've always known that. You guys know I love crows. I'm always talking about crows. So I had to bring you guys that. Of course, crows can recognize stuff. I absolutely believe that. This is a funny story. So pig escapes, terrorizes entire town, and then craps in the cop car. Become ungovernable. Absolutely, gritty is the way. That is a hilarious story. Oh, we all get free. What does Oz the Boomer say? Oz says, super chat, we all get free on August 23rd, 2026. What's August 23rd? You're going to have to enlighten me, Oz. What is that date? What am I missing? I don't know what that date is. And this is a great one. So, yep, that exists. Gardening enthusiast attaches a machete to his favorite plant, which is controlled by the plant's inner electoral noises, gives it the ability to defend itself. So don't piss that plant off, man. He's got a machete. You will Jason yourself. Oz, the day after my birthday. Okay, so August 22nd is your birthday, P Stuff. Happy birthday when it comes around. I don't know what date. August 23rd, 2026. What comes August 23rd, 2026, Oz? I'm so confused. Anyways, I just thought that was a great story because, there's so much evidence out there that plants have feelings and, they threw them out a window 100 times and they were scared. I mean, there's just so much. So yeah, let's give all the plants machetes and they'll just do away with us. Give the trees some too. Okay, I got one more United spot for you guys before I get out of here. Let's see. You guys know I love the Adam Schiff ones. The United spot Adam Schiffs are my favorite United spots. So let's check it out.
Welcome back to the Late Night Colbert Report! Welcome to the show, Adam.
Thank you.
And congrats on your new book.
Thank you. Everything in it is true.
Yeah, right. Great book, though. I love fiction.
Thank you, but it's all true.
Sure it is. Hey, look, I just have one question.
Okay.
Why didn't you put the Standard Hotel in the book? That would have been awesome. I mean, you shouldn't have called the book Midnight in Washington. You should have called it Midnight at the Standard Hotel.
Well,
and how come you didn't have the whole fake whistleblower story in there? Now that would have sold some books. The made-up whistleblower, the Kremlin, you making up stories and then saying you were just being sarcastic. I mean, that's gold.
Well, my book is more about Trump.
Trump is yesterday's news. Nobody cares about Trump anymore. They want to hear about you. Your book is more important than Earth.
Thank you.
So, what happened at the Standard Hotel?
I ate some pasta and
And?
I ate some hot dogs, but that's it.
Come on, you can tell me. Nobody even watches this show.
Well,
So you ate some pasta and hot dogs.
Yeah.
And?
And I...
Adam, you love hot dogs and pasta, right?
Yeah.
I bet you're thinking about hot dogs and pasta right now, aren't you?
Yep.
Blink twice and say nothing if everything about the Standard Hotel is true. So, why didn't you put it in the book?
Because it's all Trump's fault.
I knew it!
It's always Trump's fault, isn't it? Wow, we got a lot of boomer ones. I'm going to call you guys the first boomers. We got a lot of first boomers out there. We love our boomers. That's why we're Beauty and the Boomer, right? I mean, I think we have a different perspective. Oh, we've got a boomer too out here too. I'm a Gen Xer, but I'm a Gen Xer who raised a bunch of boomers. So I feel like I have boomer embedded in me. Let's see what else. Oh, Oz, that's your birthday. Of course, that's your birthday. I know when your birthday is. I was just thinking the 2026 thing, like what's happening in 2026? So yes, of course, Oz, the Leo. Actually, you're a cusp person, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Ozzy, you're a younger brother too. You guys are funny. You're like, I'm older in dirt. No, you're wiser than dirt. That's what it comes down to, right? The older we get, the wiser we are. Fuck, if I could have the information that I have now 20 years ago, God, the things I could have done, the troubles I would have saved myself. Chris Foster's a Gen Xer too. Love my fellow Gen Xers because, man, we had it tough, right? We did. We didn't get coddled like the damn boomers did. We just we were the latchkey kids. We got told to get out there and take care of our damn selves. And we did. And we have. So, yeah, I do believe that the Gen Xers are the toughest generation on the planet right now. And that's just no lie. That's just the way it is. I agree with this one. So it didn't start with gas chambers. It started with one party controlling the media, one party controlling the message, one party deciding what is truth, one party censoring speech and silencing opposition, one party dividing citizens into us and thems and calling on their supporters to harass them. It started when good people turned a blind eye and let it happen. We always say that, right? And good people do nothing. That's how we get where we're at. I absolutely agree with that. And since nobody's talking about it, I will talk about it. I've talked about it every show that I've had. Just to note, there is an anti-war protest that is going to go down Saturday in front of the White House, March 18th at 1 p.m. If you are on the East Coast or if you are in DC, please go down there and support. I mean, I don't know the organizers. I don't care. It's an anti-war protest and I'm anti-war. So, I remember a time when there was just protests and you didn't like who's organizing it. And, I don't like what that person said. So I'm going to hate the whole organization. Like, come on, knock it off, guys. We need to come together or they're just going to annihilate us. They are annihilating us. You guys like my background pic? That's kind of like my mobile. I have a big deck on my mobile like that. So it kind of reminds me of it. Not my mobile, but close enough. Let's see. Here's another reason I don't want to get behind any candidate out there so far is I don't hear anybody talking about Julian Assange. And, Trump had a really rousing rally this week from what I understand. And he talked about a lot of good stuff. He really did. A lot of things we talk about. But did he talk about Julian Assange? And did he free Julian Assange when he could have? Did he pardon Julian Assange when we begged him to? I mean, he wouldn't even have been president if it wasn't for Julian Assange. I truly believe that in my heart of hearts. And so I ain't getting behind no candidate that ain't behind Julian Assange. Please, guys, let's write Julian Assange. Let's get him some letters. send him some hope, because that's all we have in this world is hope, right? You have fear and you have hope. And he has had to endure so much, so much. So let's get him some letters. Let's support him. I know there's a bunch of events coming up. Amber, I saw your email, but I haven't had time to read it. So yes, I will get those out as soon as I know when and where they are. But we got anniversaries coming up. I know that there's there's things planned on the other side of the country. Hopefully the West Coast can catch up. Uphill both ways, yada yada. Yeah, for sure, Yona. Or DC. And I think that's it, other than my song. So let me shout my chats out real fast. Yeah, this show was a little bit shorter. Everything's banking, right? They just take us from one narrative to another narrative to another narrative. And this week it's going to be all about banking. So unless you guys wanted a 2-hour show on what we already know is going on, there's no point, right? We're not getting much information about Ohio and the poisoning of the East Palestine people. It's just the way the media is. So we're going to do our best to try to bring you guys other stories than just what the mainstream bullshit is. Romo, welcome. Ronnie Graham, so glad to see you hanging out in the chat. We love our Patreons. Thank you so much. Yona, thank you so much for joining us. Fred Edwards, thank you for sharing and tweeting us out like you always do. DC, Amber, I'm definitely going to check out. Here, let me hear that link so I can see it. I hit the link and open it, and then I go look at the link after the show. So you guys can always drop links to me. I will check them out, or you can send them to me on Twitter. I am at Chanda-Masta or Trailer Park Pundit. Thank you guys so much on the Rockfin for joining us. Let's see, who do we got over on Rumble? I love our Rumblers. You guys are in the other chats, but thank you just for coming in and supporting our Rumble, because just to have people over there, even if you're in 2 different places and you're chatting somewhere else, we appreciate you over on the Rumble. It helps get our numbers up, get our views up, get our follows up. Rumble's a weird place, man. I mean, I heard that you can't even find Rumble shows on Rumble. It's hard to find stuff on Rumble. Let's see. You guys, I got to tell you, Kate, Oz gave me a heart attack on Saturday night because we did that bit on the synagogue where the guy is saying I support, Palestine, and they're screaming at him visceral hate, just like, F you, die, get out of here. It was terrible, right? And I really didn't make a comment about my stance on it or anything. I just said it was terrible to see such visceral hate. And at the same time, you guys are like a minute behind us. This morning, you guys are definitely a minute behind me because the Rockfin took extra time to launch. So that's why the chats are not up to real time with us. It takes a good minute for you guys to drop your message and then to get to us. So we see a message, we're 2 or 3 segments down the road, and we see a message from Kate saying, I'm going to have to unfollow you, Shanda. And we're like, what? No way. We can't lose Kate. What did we say? What did we do? Obviously, we just misinterpreted it. But yeah, you gave us a slight heart attack behind the scenes in the green room the other night. We never want to offend you. If you ever have a problem with us, come to us. I mean, we definitely will talk it out. I mean, if you don't agree with something we say, that's cool, man. You're allowed to disagree. That's the problem with this country. You're not allowed to disagree anymore. So yes, always, if you disagree with us, that's cool. Reach out to us. Say, hey, you guys got this wrong, or tell us why we got it wrong. We're more than willing to have that conversation with people. So yeah, it was a small heart attack, Kate. I thought that you hated us for 2 seconds. So we don't ever want our peeps to hate us. Let's see. It is Tuesday. So what do we got going on? I think we'll probably have a combo some point today. Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully. And Pasta and I will be back to Hell and Back on Thursday. He reached out to me this week and said, I'm back. So join us Thursday. We are only on Rockfin and Rumble on Thursdays and Fridays because YouTube can't handle the truth. So the next 2 shows, you'll have to catch us on Rockfin or Rumble. And then, of course, we'll be back for Beauty and the Boomer. We took a couple of hits on Beauty and the Boomer this week. So if you see it's kind of chopped up, it's the best we could do to keep it back up and online. So it's Taco Tuesday. Guess what? I'm having tacos today. I didn't plan that, but it just seems to work out that way. Oh my God, snark. I'll have to go back and see what I was making fun of. I know, Kate, right? Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, no, she's just being funny. She's just being funny. And I'm scrolling and I'm like, well, she says right here she loves this and she loves that. I'm like, I don't think she's mad at us. Like, it's just that easy to be confused. in the chats, right? Especially because it's behind time and whatnot. Jilly Love says no convo couch today. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay, well, who are we watching today, guys? Send me some videos. I don't know. Anyways, anybody else got anything? I don't think so. I'm just gonna get out of here. I want you guys to have a great day. And I did have a new saying. What was it? Oh, see, all this brain fog in the morning, it slows me down. I'm not as foggy in the evening. I don't know why. I guess maybe I'm not a morning person, but it is what it is. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I got a great closer. It is 2 Against 1. It is a cover of Danger Mouse and Jack White. I love this song. And yeah, this is kind of how I feel when we're in the media space, right? It's 2 against 1 always. So you guys take care. Don't let the man get you down. And I will see you on Thursday for To Hell and Back.
Make no mistake, I don't do anything for free. I keep my enemies closer than my mirror ever gets to me. And if you think that there is shelter in this attitude, wait till you feel the warmth of my gratitude. One, I get the feeling that it's 2 against 1. Already fighting me, so it's another one. The mirror is a trigger and your mouth's a gun. Lucky for me, I'm not the only one. And if it looks to me like you in your reflection plan to add your own fight to this dimension, then tells that ain't no free for all to see. There's only 3. It's just you and me against me. One, I get the feeling that it's 2 against 1. Already fighting me, so it's another one. The mirror is a trigger and your mouth's a gun. Lucky for me, I'm not the only one. Lucky for me, I'm not the only one. Your foot's on to sick 1,000 yes men. Brando break into the middle of this little plan. Then there's a plan to hear me say that I won't play around the way. Anyway, I plan around them. One, I get the feeling that it's 2 against 1. Already fighting me, so it's another one. The mirror is a tree.